You probably think rich people are born lucky, don't you? But what if I told you there's a simple secret that can change everything? A secret that could turn your life around forever, just like it did for me. Most people never learn it because they're too busy chasing the wrong things. But if you pay attention for the next few minutes, this could be the turning point for you. Here's the truth they don't want you to know. Imagine this. You're living paycheck to paycheck, barely making ends meet. Every month, it feels like your money disappears as fast as it comes in. Rent, bills, food. There's nothing left for yourself, let alone for your dreams. That was my reality, and it might be yours too. You wake up every day knowing you're capable of more, but you don't know how to get there. You see the rich living the life you want. Private jets, luxury cars, sprawling mansions, and you can't help but wonder, how is that even possible? That's the first step, questioning everything. Because the truth is, most of us are taught to work hard, earn money, and spend it on things we think we deserve. But what if I told you there's a completely different way to live? One day, everything changed for me. I happened to meet someone who looked like they had it all. He had the mansion, the cars, the jet, and the lifestyle most of us only dream about. I didn't want to miss my chance, so I asked him, "What's your secret?" At first, I expected him to brush me off or give me some vague advice, but what he told me turned my entire perspective upside down. He smiled and said, "You're looking at the wrong things. The cars, jets, and houses don't come from my job, they come from my assets." I had no idea what he meant at the time, but those words stayed with me. He broke it down for me in a way I could understand. He said, "Most people work hard for their money and then spend it on things that make them feel rich. Designer clothes, fancy cars, big homes. But the truth is, those things aren't what make you wealthy. Real wealth comes from owning assets that generate income for you. You don't use your paycheck to buy luxuries. You use your paycheck to buy assets. And then you let those assets pay for the luxuries." That's when it clicked for me. I'd been doing everything wrong. I'd been working hard just to spend my money without ever thinking about how I could make it work for me. He even drew it out for me on a napkin. It was the simplest formula I'd ever seen, but it was also the most powerful. He wrote, "Earned income, assets, cash flow, luxuries." It was so simple that it almost felt too good to be true. But he told me, "This is what they don't teach you in school. This is how the wealthy stay wealthy, and why the rest of the world stays stuck. If you follow this formula, you'll never look at money the same way again." And he was right. That napkin became my blueprint for everything I did from that point forward. I started small. I didn't have much to work with, but I knew I had to start somewhere. I picked up side hustles, delivering food, selling items online, even mowing lawns. Anything to earn a little extra money. Every dollar I saved went into buying my first asset, a vending machine. It wasn't glamorous and it didn't make me rich overnight, but it was my first taste of passive income. A few weeks later, I bought a dividend-paying stock. Then a few months later, I invested in a small rental property. It was slow and it took discipline, but every single dollar of cash flow I earned went right back into buying more assets. I didn't touch that money for luxuries, even when I was tempted. It was hard at first. I saw my friends buying new cars, going on vacations, and enjoying their weekends while I was grinding. They laughed at me, called me cheap, and said I'd never enjoy life. But deep down, I knew I was building something bigger. Of course, it wasn't always smooth sailing. I made mistakes along the way. I lost money on bad investments. There were times when I doubted myself and wanted to quit. But I remembered what the billionaire told me. Play the long game. Wealth doesn't happen overnight. So I kept learning. I read books, listened to podcasts, and studied people who had done it before me. And little by little, my cash flow started to grow. The first time I earned $100 in passive income, I celebrated like it was $1 million. It wasn't about the amount, it was about the proof that the system worked. I knew then that I was on the right track. Over time, My cash flow started to cover my expenses. I'll never forget the day I realized I didn't need my 9-to-5 job anymore. That was the moment I felt truly free. I wasn't just working for money anymore, my money was working for me. And from that point on, every luxury I bought, a nicer car, a bigger house, even a vacation, came from my assets, not my hard-earned paycheck. It wasn't just about money anymore, it was about freedom. Freedom to spend time with my family, to pursue my passions, and to live life on my own terms. Now I'm passing that secret on to you. The truth is, this formula isn't hidden. It's just waiting for you to take action. Remember, assets first, luxuries later. Most people will never understand this because they're too busy chasing the wrong things. But if you take that first step today, you'll thank yourself years from now. So, what's stopping you? Your future self is counting on you to make the right choice. And here's one last thing to think about. The billionaire who taught me this wasn't born rich either. He learned it from someone else who took the time to show him the way. That's the power of passing on knowledge. Now, it's your turn to take this formula and change your life. The question is, will you act on it, or will you let this moment pass you by? The choice is yours.